Well, the reason why I named it The History of Rare and Unreleased is because I wanted to give the fans something that I had never put out to the public. And there's songs that have been out, but I wanted to give them a timeline, straight up. Just basically, when I started doing this from a junior MC writing, and being in a group, His Majesty, to, breaking away from that, doing my own solo thing, rolling with my boy Pope, then just gradually moving up until this time now where I'm fucking with JP the Hustler, and we actually doing business together. So that's pretty much why I wanted to do this for the fans, man. The fans deserve to hear where I started from. There's just no question about it, because everybody want to talk about all that. Oh, I originated this and I originated that, or I'm a legend this and I'm a legend that. All that shit's bullshit, dog. You know what I mean? The bottom line is I'm an individual, dude. This is what I do. And fuck the facade on that bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be... I trip on that because that's what I guess sells them, the facade thing, man. I do insane poetry. There's no reason to explain my shit. It's pretty simple. It's insane and it's poetry. That's what it do. It's always been that. Well, basically, the first song is called High Plains Grifter. I actually did this with Messias, and he's in a group called Sweet Justice, and he actually runs G4 TV, the Freestyle 101. He approached me with this song. The original version was actually written by Eddie Spaghetti, and it was like, I got this joint called High Plains Grifter. It's like the old Western joint, and he just thought I fit on it. And actually, when I heard the track and the music, it just took me in the realm of what my career has been like. So I've been on a pen game with it. So when it came out, it was like, bam. Oh yeah, We Got It was a track. Oh man, we recorded that back in 2004. It was Grim Reality Entertainment. We had just started the label at the time. We had a label full of MCs. Some was out here from right where we were locally, and some in San Diego, and we just put it together, and it was a lot of good stuff we wanted to put together. And one happened to be my boy Lowdown, from Fullerton, Lowdown to Greenwich Beach Boulevard. That's Lowdown's thing, and it was for their mixtape. Him and my boy Jay Sparks. At the time, he was going by Spark, but it was their mixtape called The Jack Move. So I got them on there. I got JP the Hustler, he's on there. He actually did the track. He dropped the Heat Rock on there. Me, myself, Trey Dizzle, Cisco, and Freaks. Now all of them, they was from they all formed their own thing called Damn It Boy Entertainment, but they all was a part of Grim Reality Entertainment at the 2004 start, and that's where We Got It came from. Lord Forgive Me is a song about, just life in general, man. You just go through a lot of things, man, and all that shit was unfabricated shit, nonfiction. I just spit it from how it happened, how it went down, and it's like, I've wrote that shit to different tracks, but this track seemed to fit it the best. And, and I just wanted to give people that, every time I do records, I want to give them some of Andrew Holloman, not Psycho, so, what I'm saying, and those are the songs that you have to. I feed my fans like that. That's why I wanted to drop this Rare and Unreleased for songs like Lord Forgive Me. When I recorded Lord Forgive Me, I think it was in 2004. Also, JP, he produced the track at the time. He was really, putting his production skills to another level. And it's funny because this particular song we wanted to put on Falling from Grace and never made the cut. But it's funny how you get songs that you could always use for something else because they touch people in a different way, and it just didn't fit the chemistry of the record. That ain't me. That's my West Coast anthem for all the writers out there that are really sick and tired of all them suckers out there really, lying on their records, platinum, go, you catch a nigga selling this shit, he look like he like that, but it ain't really going down like that. Everybody trying to put the facade on. That ain't me, man. I just wanted to give you 100%. Talking about the industry, how I felt at that moment, and that just wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? When you hear it, you know what I'm saying. West Coast stand up. I recorded That Ain't Me in 2004. Very different time in rap. It's crazy because a lot of you start seeing the trends, the transition of things getting bad back in those times. For the big industry people. It's all good though. Life is a Gamble happened back in 2002. it was a record. It's funny how it came out. Life is a Gamble was actually, me and JP put that together on the Faith and Chaos record. And actually that was a different version than the original version I did with actually Coolio, how it came about. The producer, Jammin' James and Poison Ivy at KMC, Jammin' James of Lighter Shaded Brown fame, they put this beat together and they just asked me to come to the studio and hang out with them. So they're playing a whole bunch of beats and this beat came on, they got me in the studio. I'm kind of just, I've been writing, I was in a transitional stage from the Rodney thing, and this was happening to be a proper song for me to do a life song about. And I actually just closed my eyes and spit the first verse and knocked on the studio window after I got done with the verse. I opened my eyes, it's Coolio, straight up. Coolio was like, I got a hook for this shit right off the bat. I didn't even know he was in the building, dog. He just was in another studio. He had heard me spitting shit, and he just like, man, I got something. He came and laid that shit down, and this is how we have Life's a Gamble. It's the original version. It appeared on this digital release, as a remix version because technically the first one was out, but we wanted to give you the different versions of it, and the one on the Faith and Chaos was hot because it fit the ambiance of the type of record it was. And this one is, just to let you know where it originated from. Yeah, well, Can't Flow With Us, that was a single that me and JP, we got together, first time we actually jumped on a song together. And it was the first single after the Faith and Chaos record. We felt like we needed to start branching out and hitting people up like this is grim reality entertainment getting ready to start dropping on you. So here's a little prelude to it. And so that's basically what me and JP has done, is put together a combination and a chemistry that works really well. And Can't Flow With Us was the origin of that. And we wanted to let people know about it. We want digitally everywhere because this is all global. So we want people to feel what we're doing. Shroom Vision, yeah, that's one of my favorite joints, man. I did that during the era, and Boogie produced that track. And Boogie was a dude that I met years ago with my dude Shakespeare, way back, like in the early 90s and stuff. And Boogie was DJing and he got into production, and he's done a lot of production on some of my prior stuff that will be coming out. You'll be able to check that out. The thing about Shroom Vision is during this time, I was experimenting with drugs a lot, straight up. And I just wanted to write something that was really hot, and it was like, it's funny because I got a lot of flack from this record. I think a lot of heads in the industry and a lot of the underground backpack cats didn't like me because they thought I was taking a shot at dilated peoples on this, which really I wasn't. I didn't really understand because, again, I was in a drugged out state most of that era, and writing, it's just, you do what you do or whatnot. And the hook on the song, I didn't even write. And Boogie wrote the hook, and it's just fucked up because it ties in, and then I say their name in a line and everything like that. And it's like when I wrote it, I wasn't even writing it towards them. I just liked their song called Work the Angles. And it's like, I say the line, I lethally work the angles, and then I'm just, after the rhyme, I'm just on to another thought process on the rhyme. And it's funny because when I listen to the song now, I'm like, no wonder why they thought it seemed like I was coming at them. For one, the hook is pretty much saying it's three of them, and then it's like, I can see three of you, you know what I mean? So I know they looking at me like, oh, homie, you in the wrong, and I wasn't even on that page. Not to say that I don't respect what they do. I respect exactly what they do because they represent real hip hop, but at the same time, that's the olive branch. I've been telling people this just for years. It's never been no hate towards Dilated, but I can only say, yeah, it is what it is. And it's funny because you mentioned Shroom Vision, which leads me into how all the situation with Dilated ties in, is because M Boogie came at me and he said, I got this track. I'm gonna give it to you, Psycho, Insane Poetry. I'm like, cool. So I wrote a song to it called On Deadly Ground. I write the shit, right? And then he comes back, he goes, I got an idea. I'm gonna take the same track with the same title and give it to this dude and have him write a song to it. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's cool. I was just trying to get on just get in the game more. And so he packaged it up as a mic battle on the cover. It says on Deadly Ground, it's two mics battling. It's Rocker Irish Science, who happens to be in Dilated Peoples and Insane Poetry. And it's funny because I never even heard of them at that particular moment. I didn't even know their music, nothing. Didn't even know it. I just was, the idea was writing a song. So it goes into On Deadly Ground was birthed from that. And it ended up starting, I think, a beef that I had nothing to do with because I didn't put the idea for the fucking cover together. You know, no diss to Matt. I mean, he was trying to market and promote, so, you know, that's just how shit is. I just got caught up in that. Then me and Rocka, it's funny because he had called me and asked me about the song Shroom Vision because he was man enough to do it. He asked me about Shroom Vision and I told him like there wasn't no shout at him. And Evidence got at me too, and he was a little more on the heated end of it because when I listen to it now, I could see why. But back then I was like, nah, dude, I wasn't coming at you. And, and still down to this day, I'm not coming at you. You know, but that was just during that era. Maybe that's what a lot of those cats where I haven't done, you know, like a lot of shows in certain areas because of those certain reasons. Maybe, you know, that could be it. I could be the biggest conspiracy theorist of all anyway, so it doesn't matter. And anyway, just to jump into the next joint, yeah, now Lyrical Catacombs, this is the original version. Again, this has been done another time, but the original version of this was done during the M Boogie times in 94, 95 era when I was doing a lot of, you know, hip hop that I thought was hip hop. You know, it's real hip hop, dog. So I felt that music, and he dropped a beat on me. He had DJ Melody, you know, world famous beat junkies on the scratch, and I just was in a lyrical. I was just in that time frame. I wanted to get away from a certain type of thing and just focus strictly on just being a lyrical beast. And it just like he caught me right at the right when it started beginning. And it's like when I look at on Deadly Ground, and I look at Lyrical Catacombs, and I look at Shroom Vision, I'm like, that's when I was really starting to get on my dean with that shit. MCs act like they don't know. That was one of those things where you just cocky with your lyrics, man. You didn't really, you know. I was just like in a stage where I felt like nobody could fuck with me, you know. And Matt provided a beat, kind of sound like you know, some Premier shit. I always love Premier's production, so I mean, I just like the beat and the production. So I jumped on it, and I brought my dude Pope. Pope actually grinded with me on the Black Plague album. Pope jumped on that joint with me also. That joint, and then we did another one called Let 'Em Know, and that's with me and Pope from the Black Plague days. Jumped on that also. That's another M Boogie produced joint. And then we have Calico Flows, which pretty much rounds out that EP I did for the M Boogie, you know, shit back then. You know, it's actually some dope music in that dope time frame. That era, it's just like if you into that real backpack hip hop shit like that. I'm just letting you know throughout this whole history of the records that I can just flow over anything. It's no doubt, you know, I can make fucking classic music. So it doesn't matter what you feed me. It's just like I can make classic music, and my history proves that shit. So that's the reason why, you know, this era of the M Boogie era is I love it so much, and at the same time, I caught a little bit of flack behind it, but it ain't no thing, man. You know, because if we move on, you know, real musicians do what they do because they do it, and you know, and you don't fucking worry about what the next person thinks. Oh yeah, the last set of songs on this release is actually the stuff I did pre-Insane Poetry. It was actually when I was in a group called His Majesty. I wanted to give you guys this stuff because this is actually a lot of artists are maybe scared to give it because maybe it wasn't up to par for them or whatever to what they're doing now. I just wanted to show MCs that's out there trying to be MCs the growth, how you can grow into a better MC at, you know, in time and make better songs and write better shit if you really into doing it for the right reasons. And I just want to give people that start. That His Majesty stuff is me, Shakespeare, DJ Streak, the Crossfade Beast. That's my dude right there. The funny thing about the His Majesty thing, man, is my boy Shakespeare came from Chicago out here. It was like I had just got out of high school in '85. He touched down in '86. We got together, met him at Disneyland, and we created, you know, he rapped, he battled, he sounded like LL, and I was just, you know, just hungry. And we just liked each other's style. and we got to, and I was on more on a dark level, and he was more on that just and all that shit like that. So we got together, we formed his Majesty, and we dropped a song called Crushing Drums. This was in I say October of 86 for real, about 86. I was in a basement in North Chicago, and we went out there and we dropped Crushing Drums. I remember we was walking across the street with the 808. He was telling me how grimy Chicago was, because I'm coming from the West Coast. He was telling me how grimy it was. One of the homies swooped up on us, was like, nigga, he saw an 808 walking. He didn't even see two niggas till he saw his partner. It was funny as a motherfucker, but it is what it is, man. So we went in there, we grizzlied it out, and Crushing Drums came out, and then we went from Crushing Drums, we flew back, we did Crushing Drums, Slow and Ill was another one, and we did, what was the other one? It was Crushing Drums, Slow and Ill, and 9mm with a 13 clip. That's my boy Shakespeare, man. It was a lot of Chicago influenced music in that. So we came back to California, right? We got on the grind, and we just would start doing shows everywhere in Orange County, blah, blah, blah. And the people knew because I DJ'd for KDAY. So niggas was coming to fuck with us, man, and then they saw I could rhyme. I was rhyming, and we was getting it in like dog. And so Rodney came out, Joe Cooley came out, and I had to be a mix master. So Joe brought Rodney out, and they seen us do what we did, and we got to deal with Egyptian Empire Records. So we dropped a song called Armed and Dangerous, and that we did Slow and Ill on that. And that's, we wanted to round the record out and give you the actual beginning and the essence. And then there's a song on there called 12 Strokes of Midnight. That's like, the song that really gave birth to a lot of certain artists out there. I ain't gonna even go into it. We ain't gonna talk about globally, because I'm talking about in my area. I got the wicked style came from my nigga Shane Madman, straight up. That's how that shit went down. I took that shit and ran with it, and then another artist from my, this part of the town I'm from, they ran with it and got a deal, and just keep it real, this KMC, because they took it and put it to another level too, and Insane Poetry did what we did. That's why they was featured on my record. I was featured on theirs. KMC, 3 Men with the Power of 10. No title for this was a song. And then on my shit was Stalking with the Nightbreed. They came, jumped on it, and blessed that shit right there. And then that was in our region. That what wicked shit got to, it originated from in our region, because you got Lynch Hung, X-Rated, and Lynch Hung and the Bay Area. You got Esham and Detroit. Ghetto Boys, Gangsta Nip out in the South region, and then you got a whole East Coast and the Necros and everybody else that's just been spawned up. Q Strain, shout out to Q, Scum, everybody that's been brought it out to a level now to where you can just pick people that really do it for what they like to do it for, and they really good at it. Shout out to King Gordy. Gotta give a shout out to all the homies out there. Anybody I forget, you know what it is.